This post is going to be an easy one. I will be telling you about a real first date of a passport bro with a Vietnamese woman and comparing it with a first date with an American woman. If you are a strong, independent, feminist American woman, you may want to click off now because you are not going to like what you hear. First, let's listen to a couple of women talking about an American first date.
Alright bitches, let's do some more girl math. Today we will be girl mathing the cost women and femmes spend preparing for dates versus the cost men actually spend on dates. Surveys show the average cost a man spent per date, $189. However, the average man believes that $220 is a good date. This study showed the average American woman wears 16 products on her face before leaving the house. But just to be clear, the average man does not want the average woman. The average man is seeking out 8, 9s, 10s when he is clocking in at a solid 2. The following girl math will have a baddie tax due to inflation. Notably missing sunscreen, lip liner, face powder, and contour, so we will say 20 products. The average cost per product is $60. That's being generous. $1,200 just to walk out of the house. You will be using these products for the rest of the month. Divide that by 30. That is still $40 a day just on her face. Baddie's love lash extensions. She is obviously a woman of quality. That is $240 with tip. For the broke boys in the back, that is still $8 a day. Oh, he likes the no makeup look, but he also expects you to have flawless skin. Microneedling, $4,200 minimum. Radio frequency, $5,000, almost $10,000. I didn't even include facials. 365 days in a year, baby. That's still $25 just for this date. Botox, $450. Only lasts 3 months. That is $5 just on this date. So you can't tell she's actually frowning out of disappointment. I won't even include the hundreds, if not thousands, she spends on her hair per month. But she got a blow just for you, and that shit lasts one day. 160 with tip. Nails done. 150 with tip. Minimum. Of course, you're a fucking foot guy. Pedicure, 90 with tip. New outfit. Modest but still sexy with the little thigh slit. 863. Again, you wanted a baddie. Seeing as you are a foot guy after all, $1,095 for a nice shoe, a necessity. Inevitably, she will require bunion surgery for these, but we will talk about that expense if you make it to a second date. She went with the $1,400 micro wallet. I match a micro paycheck. Average perfume, $250. That's 2 months, $4 a day. Men don't like body hair or razor burn. Laser hair removal, $500 per session. $4,000 for 8 sessions. Let's hope she doesn't have to go back for 2 years, which we know is not true. That's $550 per day just to be hairless. Bitch, that's one body part. For spray, $25. She bought that for you. Post-date therapy, $150 minimum. Where she has to relive the fact that you called her a low-value gold-digging female for the last 3 hours and then asked her to Venmo you $10 for the breadsticks. That is more than $4,000 just to show up and exist on the singular date. Not even including transportation or a fucking jacket. Versus the $220 you spent on dinner. Plus the $3.35 in one body wash. Not having to be stuck with a man who doesn't see your value. Shit is priceless. What do we bring to the table? In the words of our sprinkle sprinkle queen, baby, we are the guest of honor. Also, never feel obligated to do any of those things for a date or a man or anything other than yourself. Because they make you happy and you want to. And not doing those things doesn't make you any less of a woman or any less worthy. And girl math doesn't lie. Baby. It's really that easy.
Yes, she was a little on the wild side. Try this next one on for size.
2 reasons why there's no excuse for men not to pay for the first date. Reason number 1 is pre-date expenses. Usually beautifying, the outfit, getting your nails done, waxing. I know the response is like, women do this for themselves and that men don't need us to pay for it. That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Obviously, we do it for ourselves, but what men think is not natural, and the expectations put on women are what created this idea that we have to pay for this stuff. So I don't even want to hear it. Cost of all of this on a regular basis is a lot more than the first date will ever cost. And then of course there's just the feeling of general safety. Let's not forget the time it takes to get ready. But honestly, these are not as important as the post-date expenses. And guys, that's reason number 2. You're gonna need therapy after your date. You're gonna need a back brace from carrying the conversation. You're probably gonna want to see a comedy show to remember that there are funny men out there. His crusty fingernails are probably gonna give you nightmares. He's gonna give you an esophagus kiss. He's gonna give you a headache. You're gonna go on a creepy date. It's gonna make you feel so uncomfortable that you're gonna run home and shower for a month. He's gonna ask you questions like this. Bottom line is it's really expensive being a girl and there is no excuse. Let me know what you think. I don't wanna hear from the men that are like, women don't have to pay for all the beautifying stuff. I don't have the energy to argue with you, but you are wrong.
Yes, I know. My face and voice have changed. I ran out of credits on 11 labs. Now I had to pick an alternative. These women aren't talking about a date. They're negotiating for a financial transaction. In order to charge more money, they have to look their best by putting on a lot of makeup, doing the hair and nails, and on and on. And you as a man, you've got to pay for it. Now let this passport bro tell you about my first date with my future wife, and you can see the difference. It is February 2020, and I had booked my flight from LAX to China with a long layover and then proceeding on to Saigon. I get to LAX and my flight has been canceled. Because of COVID, the Chinese just shut down all their airports. So I had to scramble. I got a new flight. This time, though, I fly into Tokyo and it has a much shorter turnaround time. So I show up in Saigon 12 hours earlier than my original flight. My bride is early to bed, early to rise kind of woman. So here I show up at midnight. I give her a call, and she'd probably been asleep for a couple of hours or more already. And here she has to find me a hotel and arrange my transportation by cabs to the hotel. And she did it all within the hour. Then she tells me to be out front of my hotel at 8 o'clock in the morning and she'll pick me up and we'll go to breakfast. We've already broken two traditions of American dating. First of all, she drives and I am the passenger. She plans the date and I just go along with it. She shows up at 8 o'clock on the dot on her motorbike and I hop on, which is kind of nerve-wracking for me. I've driven motorcycles since I was a teenager, and I don't like riding on the back. I just don't like it, but what can I do? And off we go to the restaurant. We arrive safely at the restaurant, and it's a big garden complex full of pavilions where they hold weddings, graduations, parties, things like that. And then the restaurant runs beside a river with a patio cover on. Remember, this is our first date, and she shows up in very neat and clean but casual clothes. No long painted fingernails, no long eyelashes, no ubangi earrings or piercings or tattoos, and most of all, no makeup, except maybe for a little lipstick. Vietnamese women really don't need a lot of makeup because they take very good care of their skin. They're especially conscious of the damage the sun can do to it. So you will see women go out in the sun and they will have a hat on, often a mask. My wife always wears a mask when riding her motorbike. It has nothing to do with health, it's to protect her skin. In the 6 years we've been together, I've only seen my wife put on makeup twice. Once was for our photo shoot for the engagement, and the other was for the actual wedding day. I think maybe I'll try and dig up those videos. I recorded the very first makeup session, and that might be good for the bonus video today. Getting back to the first date, since I just gotten in town, I hadn't had a chance to exchange money, so she even paid for breakfast. How about that, sports fans? These clips were taken in 2022, the very first time I ever saw my wife with makeup on. This was getting ready for our pre-wedding photo shoot. You can see we didn't go to a fancy makeup hair salon. This is a family affair. The young lady with the mask on is the cousin. That's Coty. Pretty soon you're going to see my stepdaughter. That's Tao right there. And then her older and younger sisters stepped in to kibitz a little bit and give their approval. Okay, we're almost finished with the makeup here at home. And then we head off to the photo shoot. This is where the dressing room. And we're about ready to shoot. Real hot that day. The air conditioning wasn't working. So pretty soon we're going to go outside, and our photographer is there. And this is what she looks like. Professional photographer. Completely. That's me in my macho wedding dress. There we are again. This is how we started out the wedding, was in this outfit right here. And at a Vietnamese woman, the bride changes several times. This is one of the outfits she wore. This, like I said, this is the first time I'd ever seen her in makeup. Okay, there I am in my tuxedo. That's the second outfit I wore. And we're just having fun on this one right here. And while she was changing, and I didn't have to, I got a solo shot. Here's with the Western dress, a wedding dress. That was her second outfit change. Oh, I love that shot. And coming up pretty soon, yeah, this is another change she had made. She also wore that during the wedding reception. Ah, that tells the story right there. I love that. Look at the look on her face, how she looks at me. And this one's even better. What a fun day that was. Okay, and this is the photographer taking a picture of my stepdaughter, Tao. Lovely lady, just lovely. Sorry, guys, she's married too. And then pretty soon, what was the next one I had coming up? Oh, there's T. That's our makeup artist. She's a niece. And I think, there's the whole crew. The second and the last time I saw her put on makeup was about a week later at the actual wedding. She was just about ready to turn 60 when these pictures were taken. Her normal beauty routine is wear a hat for the sun, on a motorbike or when it's windy, wear a mask. Her normal beauty routine in the morning is just some moisturizer. Every now and then she puts on some lipstick. She's been living with me here in the States now for over a year. She's never been out to have her nails done or her hair done or her makeup done. That's another positive thing about Vietnamese women. They know how to be thrifty.
Chiều nay tình cờ hai ta bước chung con đường, mái tóc xanh giờ đây lấm tấm màu mây, tuổi xuân qua rồi ta được gặp lại.
Mình trao nụ